United States, the land of the free and home of the brave, right? But is it really the home of the free? With approximately more than 2.2 million people in the United States in prison, almost 25% of the entire world prison population, the reality is that more people spend time behind bars here than anywhere else in the world. This isn't just a one-time issue either. According to the National Institute of Justice, within 3 years of release, about two-thirds, 67.8% of prisoners, were rearrested. Within 5 years, that number rises to about three-quarters. Why are these numbers so incredibly high in the United States? Do we simply just have too great a percentage of the population that are dangerous, that need to be kept off of the streets? In reality, these staggering numbers can also be attributed to the negligible criminal justice system within the United States, which fails to offer the proper support prisoners need in order to sufficiently re-enter society when they are released, which can be changed through assisting prisoners to take advantage of the business strategies they possess, supporting groups who are more likely to go to prison, and providing help for prisoners who desire to change themselves in order to create a better life. While they made dumb decisions that put them in prison, in reality, most prisoners are not unintelligent people. In fact, some of them, specifically those who are in for trafficking illegal goods, even possess the same business strategies that CEOs of companies have implemented in order to make money. These tactics go from implementing focus groups to never charging a first-time buyer, and they prove that these inmates are actually clever businessmen who on the outside knew the hustle. One person who has seen this process firsthand is Jeff Smith, a former politician who was incarcerated for 1 year in 2006 for covering up an election law violation in the Missouri State Senate. And while he spent time with these men while in prison, he learned that the main difference between drug dealers and businessmen is the legality of the products that they are selling. Instead of cocaine, heroin, or marijuana, this other type of business entrepreneur avoids getting into trouble with the law. Eventually, these people being caught trafficking illegal drugs or goods are found guilty and sent to prison, where they are punished for trying to make money. Instead, they could use their talents in the real free market of America, but only with the help of proper rehabilitation. Subsequently, others have views of solely dangerous people traveling to and spending time behind bars, when that is just not the case. Many people have the initial prejudice that those who have gone to prison and are dangerous people, when in reality, many have grown up around crime in such a way that it has almost become normal to them. America's prison population consists of mainly minorities, particularly African Americans, who come from the most disadvantaged corners of our unequal society, and this distribution of groups in prison cannot be ignored. In the year 2006, 1 in 9 black men between the ages of 20 and 34 was serving time. In America, criminal justice has become a second line of defense against individuals whose development has been neglected or undermined by other societal institutions like welfare, education, employment, and job training, mental health programs, and other social initiatives. As a result, it is an arena in which social stratification, social stigmas, and uniquely American social and racial dramas are reinforced. This quote from Glenn C. Loury, an American economics professor of the social sciences and professor of economics at Brown University, further describes how those who have been ignored will turn down a dangerous path in the life of crime. Oftentimes, these people who grow up in bad parts of urban areas where they turn to what they, and often the people around them, know best: drugs and gang activity. Some go to prison, get out, and go back to the same things that they were doing. However, with better training in prisons for people with drug-related offenses, they will have a better chance of making it out of the inner city and become prosperous. For people who go to prison, Time behind bars almost always diminishes their odds of living crime-free lives when they get out by lowering employability, severing ties to healthy communal supports, and hardening their own attitudes. When such individuals return to their communities, they join many others with the same harsh life experiences, often forming or joining gangs. It should not just be a punishment, but instead it should change people. If they are not changed and bettered, then they will just be back like the majority after 5 years. Larger society is implicated in a criminal's choices because we have acquiesced to social arrangements that work to our benefit and to his detriment, that shape his consciousness and his shape of identity in a way that the choices he makes and that we must condemn are nevertheless compelling to him or her. This would cost the American taxpayer money, but in the end, the incarceration rates will go down dramatically so that there are less. Conversely, there are many of the people who are locked up that have a desire to change. The desire of prisoners to rehabilitate is a final reason why the revampment of the United States prison system is necessary. Some people, once they get out, truly have the desire to change. For example, many want to go and start their own barbershop, restaurant, or personal training, but they lack the necessary skills to do so. While in prison, they have the ability to run their own business from their cell in order to make a buck, but in the real world, not all the same skills are applicable without the proper help and support. Another major problem within the United States prisons is that since the 1970s, they have been increasingly used to deal with those who are mentally ill, but these people are in fact most in need of rehabilitation. Somewhere between 15 and 20% of people in prison are mentally ill, according to the U.S. Department of Justice estimates. While the current prison system is so unjustified for those who are fine mentally, even more so is it wrong to punish those who suffer from mental illness by putting them in jail. Many of the people who are in jail find themselves stemming from one same reason. They lack the ability to make correct decisions that eventually put them into trouble with the law. The U.S. has a prison problem and it needs to be solved. Prison is not just to punish, but instead also to reform and change people for the greater good. With more than 2 million people in prison and 1 in 5 people in prison for a drug offense, a solution has to be proposed. The implementation of a business school for prisoners in the last year of their sentence, not primarily for the murderers or robbers, but the drug dealers and drug-related offenses, people who can change. These people would have the opportunity to change their lives for the better and would take charge of that opportunity. With more people learning the correct strategies, the rearrest rate would decrease dramatically, causing a decrease in the 2.2 million people in prison. Less taxpayer money would be needed to fund the prison system, and in turn extra funds that could be put towards education, so that people didn't get to the position that they were in the first place. The U.S. taxpayer is spending 3 times more on sending people to prison than giving a deserving child education. Spending a little more money now will save millions in the long run. Prisoners desire to change. Not all of the prison population is bad, and their use of the same strategies as CEOs prove the need for proper rehabilitation of prisoners for reentry.